Nice.
All right, you upgraded from a drum set to a grand piano.
Oh, yeah. Well, you saw that. Okay.
All right. Welcome in, everybody, to yet another live stream for the Cloaked Treasure hunt here in Michigan. We are joined with Nick and Greg from the Cloaked Treasure team, along with myself. And we've got a special guest tonight, John Kuipers and Harry and Mila. So we figure we talk with them. Nick, I'll hand it over to you to bring out the fun, and then I'll finish things up toward the end.
No, sounds good. Thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, out in viewer land, appreciate you guys joining us this evening. Just like last week, when we spoke to the winner of our stages 2, 3, and 4, tonight we're going to speak to the winner of our stage 5, Mr. John Kuipers and his 2 kids. So I think we're going to kind of have the same kind of questions that we did last week. And I know everybody's really interested in hearing what John has to say. So I'm going to jump right into it. And I think, John, the first question for you and your kids, if they want to offer, their views,
I hope so.
Very quickly, I do too. How did you hear about the hunt and why did you decide to join?
I heard about the hunt through my boss, who came back from a seminar, and he said, this cloakedtreasure.com, you've got to join this. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, this has consumed my entire weekend. I haven't thought about anything other than this over the weekend. And I said, well, what is it? And he showed me the website. Then he started talking about the past solves, but I couldn't see it because I wasn't a member. He says, just throw in your $20. And I was like, whatever. And I just went back to what I was doing. Well, it took like 24 hours. And then I finally signed up, and I put in my $20. From that point forward, I think I told Greg before we started here, we didn't get any work done that week. We ended up doing a lot of treasure hunting, wasting company time and resources, just blowing up everything we could. And I've been hooked ever since.
So I'm curious. So at what point, what was the day approximately that you joined, and which stages were already done when you joined?
I joined with the Cranford letter was the first stage that I could see everything. And I saw the coin. That one I thought was interesting. I saw the photos of that online. I saw the Detroit Main Library and what it took to get that solved. And that, I have to say, I think I was not at first on board with the traveling. I thought, well, if one is in Manistee, the other one's in downtown Detroit. It was the photo, seeing the black light with the email address and the cover. That's what sold me. It's like, okay, this could really be interesting. So yeah, then I've been doing it every day ever since then.
Great. No, I appreciate that. So then
Even
the follow-on question
the
has to be, absolutely. The follow-on question has to be, obviously you didn't win stage 4, but right. You were, it sounds like, in the thick of it. What, before we jump to stage 5, I'm curious, tell me a little bit about how your efforts during stage 4 and where you went or what you did or how close you got. Talk to me about stage 4 before we jump to stage 5, please.
Oh, well, Josh, for the people that are on Discord, Josh is my coworker and my boss. He is Witty Smitty. He and I spent an entire Saturday after discovering specific things about the Cranford letter, being after we initially thought it was the St. Julian family. We got into where it was Falstaff, and then that got us into the Shakespearean part of it. And looking back now, I'm kind of irritated that we didn't go to Kalamazoo, but we were stuck on, it's either Shore Harbor or Safe Harbor. I think it's Safe Harbor, actually. Stuck on that, and we were looking at all the different bars around that area. So I'm in Rockford, he's in Holland. We were going off back and forth through text, and then it was, man, we got to go down to the Red Dock. When can you be there? I was like, it's 1:25, 2-ish. I'll pick you up at the plant parking lot, and then we'll go straight down there. And he said, deal, done. So we We went from there to, I can't remember the name of the places, to be honest with you. Butler Hotel. My mind's drawn a blank. There were two other, the Southerner, I believe. Oh, and the Saugatuck Brewing Company. We went there too. And we got responses from the Red Dock and from Saugatuck saying that this is crazy. Somebody else has come in here a couple days ago and asked the same questions, but we don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That's awesome.
Like, you sure? Did we ask for help?
That's fast for a different year.
But finding out that we were wrong there, I mean, I think we pinged you guys 4 times within 5 hours, probably. Really kind of took us off the rails a little bit. And then we started looking closer at what we thought were messed up letters within that letter itself. And I've got up on my notes over here just circles for everything that looked abnormal. Big red circles around every single letter, or something on the page that looked out of place, or the umlaut on the one U, which kind of got us, and some of the dots that were over the single letters. But yeah, we were not successful. We did not get there in time. And now I realize, the quill and paper, I'm familiar with Shakespeare rod and reels, and I knew that was an old manufacturing facility for those things, and it turned into a pub. And for whatever reason, I just kept that right out of my brain. And I was aware of where the place was, and I never even considered it. I was not part of the group that was thinking about latitude 40.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good. So you didn't have to drive so far north. We appreciate that.
Yeah. For the second clue,
and it sounds like you had a similar experience to several of our other seekers who tried several pubs, several bars, several breweries, and in many cases, it sounded like we had, our seekers were able to string together enough clues that made some of those other locations seem like they were correct.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. Hey, but let's jump on. Let's move on to a more successful story for you.
Okay.
Talk to me about stage 5. So you see the clue, you see the half map and the bottle. Walk me through from the day that we released that information
you'll be able to see
until you solved it. What was that like?
Let me. I've never used this before, sure. So, all right, don't show these. You can talk about it, sweetie. Of course.
I want to talk about but no, whenever you're done.
All right, can you see it?
Let me add it to the stage.
Here we are. Okay, so we had two spots that we wanted to go, and I was staring at this bottle, right? I knew that something had to do with this chimney. Something had to be up with this word sanctuary here being misspelled. So I just started searching chimneys in the woods, and I found one in Pinckney that seemed like it was legitimate, and I found one up here in the Highland Rec area. And going through Google Photos, I found this, and this might just be a coincidence. This area right here is similar shape to the map. I don't know if that was intentional, because I did look at this map on the other side, and there weren't no Sharpie marks to show that it has like a scissor line that you needed to follow. There was nothing on that showed me that you made that intentionally. So I was like, okay, we'll take a look at that. Started looking at that a little bit deeper. This HO had me. Once I started looking at maps for the facilities, I saw like ATV maps. I saw hiking maps. I saw equestrian trails. So HO here, I thought, okay, maybe that's horses only. Is any of this correct? Probably not, but anyway, it worked out in that way. If you were to take this position where the X is and flip it you see the other side of it, which I don't have up here, but that CD is in that same area. You fold that over, it lands on that X. So we took a trip last weekend to the Highland Rec area with wanting to go to Pinckney too if this was unsuccessful. The CD that we saw, if you're looking at this map, corresponded with this circle here, which shows the area at the Highland Rec area. C and D are the Haven Hill Estate Lodge and Carriage House and the Haven Hill Estate Sheep Barn. Now, going back to that, I thought, why is this misspelled? Here's the HI as well. I saw that trail markings were lining up to be HI as well, like this side. Either they're trail waypoints. Like, how are we going to make a determination of getting there? Well, on the bottle, that R was missing, or what that added R for sanctuary was sanctuary. That was the 7th letter. That was an R. So I looked at a different map of the same area. I found that 5 here, this red trail 5 for 2 miles, its endpoint was 7, and it's the Haven Hill site. So that was enough for me and the kids to jump in the car. We didn't do it the day that they wanted me to. We did it the following day. But as soon as we got up there, we were looking at this chimney, and I thought, let's go look at that. We looked around the area with black lights too, by the way, and the guest house, and it wasn't working because it was like 2:30 to 3 in the afternoon, and it was so bright. How do I stop sharing in this software?
Here, I can remove it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so we find that. We go to the base. Actually, let me back up. We go to the entrance. I didn't have a recreational pass. I told her that I needed one, and she goes, "What are you interested in seeing?" I said, "I'd like to see the Haven Hill site." And she's like, "Oh, okay, great." She's like, "If you go to this circle, there's the employee-only area. There's a yellow gate. Don't worry about it. Just climb right over it." Had she not told me about that, we would have taken a way around that would have been way more awful than just going straight up that hill. And, that hill, man, our adventure around looked treacherous. Insects nearly everywhere. It was very steep and hot. And I now realize I'm out of shape if I can't climb a hill that's elevated 200 feet for a quarter mile.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I had Harry. Well, actually, I was on the back side of the fireplace with the black light. And then, Harry, what did you say to me?
I said there's like this looked off, kind of.
Something looked off. What looked off?
It was like a brick on the floor, like right in the center.
Yeah, so the base of the fireplace was all slate and thin slate. But in the very front of the fireplace, whether this was you guys or somebody else had gone up there, there was a standard clay brick laid right in front. And I looked at it and I said, "Harry, I can't bend over and get up. You're going to have to go in there." Harry, somewhat of a timid kid, does not like gross things. Very proud of him because he was being pummeled with 100-year-old plaster and dirt in his hair and everything else, and bugs and whatever. Looked up in there and he said, "I don't see anything, Dad." I said, you sure you don't see anything that doesn't belong there?" And what did you say?
I do.
I said, "Yeah, wait, there is something there." So he pulls out the other half of this map, and I swore. I said, "Holy effing S," in front of both of my kids. And it's like, I can't believe we just got this. And from that point on, I texted Josh and said, "Hey, we've got it, success." We didn't open it. We didn't know if there's anybody else around. We wanted to get out of there as soon as possible because the bugs were just absolutely horrendous. Get down to the bottom near the parking lot there again, and I text messages like, "Let me see it, open it, take a picture, whatever." And I'm like, I'm just looking around to see if there's somebody else around here, because if they see that I have this, I don't really want to share this information right now. So the parking lot became empty, and then I could share photos with him. And we were looking at it, and I thought, man, there's a square, and then there's another little trail with a question mark. And I was like, I'll be damned if I'm going back up that hill again. And thankfully, our time had run out because my ex-wife and I share the kids week to week, and 7:00 is our cutoff time. That's our drop-off time. So it was getting to be 4:00, and we had a 2.5-hour drive back. So it was save it for another time.
Awesome.
But we didn't go back.
So
That is fantastic. I love a good hunt and a good solve and a good. I mean that's what treasure hunting and adventure is all about. I love it. That's fantastic.
real quick, I have one comment
so-
and one question.
Yeah.
If I can jump in. So the comment is some of that stuff you covered is correct. And some
Okay.
of it is pure coincidence.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out.
So, figuring out why some of the coincidence items are on there is for all of you seekers to figure out as we go forward. And the second thing is, Harry, are you going to split the prize with your dad? You actually were the one that grabbed it, right? I mean,
I hope.
Yeah, we'll get something out of it. He definitely will. Mila, you had a comment. What was your comment?
What?
You were talking before Nick started. What did you say?
I don't know.
Oh, we forgot. Anyway,
I
moving
think
on.
she was saying that she was happy she didn't have to go back up that hill.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
right. That is exactly right.
Yeah.
I was happy that I don't have to go back up that hill because it was the worst thing ever.
It was the bugs.
Yeah.
I mean, I was also sweating. My legs were hurting, but the bugs were making me so mad.
Yeah.
You
I
live to see
do
another day,
a bunch of fishing up in Canada. We go up in deep into Canada and do some fishing for a week. And there are times where the bugs and the mayflies and whatever it sounds like an airplane taking off. There's just so many, and it makes those times a little bit less fun. But when you win $1,000 prize, makes those bugs a little bit less annoying, right?
I say you forego going to Canada next time and go to Alaska, do some salmon fishing in the Russian River.
Never been to Alaska.
No bugs
But
at all.
I know Greg and Brian, who was on for a short period of time earlier, they did some hiking up there. I was not man enough to join them for that trip, but
I also want to say one other thing. The layout at the old Haven Hill estate does not look like the Google Photos. It's not like a fresh cut lawn. It is 12 inches of weeds and grass.
yeah, that's a pretty cool site for folks that haven't been there before. It's worth researching it just to find some of the history. It is kind of a neat part of the Michigan State history with it being in the Ford family and then being turned over as a state park and the highest point in the county and things like that. It is really an interesting site to visit with the ruins and the carriage house and things. So a plug for the folks that haven't been there yet. Maybe don't do it in July because I hear the deer flies are awful. But maybe September they should clear out.
Like maybe when it's winter, that'd be nice.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, John, I appreciate all this. I did want to ask you one last question, maybe
Sure.
two last questions before we move on to some other things this evening. What would you say? Theoretically, there are a whole bunch of seekers watching our live stream tonight. What would you say to them, or what would you say to people who haven't signed up yet, but who have kind of been following along and are thinking about joining the hunt? Any of the words of wisdom or thoughts for either of those audiences?
Absolutely do it. We recruited another coworker who we haven't allowed within our circle. We told him we're not going to tell him anything, but he registered just this past week.
awesome.
We've had a good time. You've had a good time, right, Harry?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the movies that I've asked him to watch in the past, he's kind of just been like, yeah. But he texted me Sunday night and said, Dad, I've watched National Treasure 1 and 2, and I'm going to watch Goonies tomorrow. And I was like, sweet.
Yes.
So maybe we will move back on to Indiana Jones. He kind of watched those when he was younger, but didn't really have an interest, but I bet you he does now.
That's awesome. All
Well, no,
right.
that's fantastic. Thank you. Glad to have you here.
This has been
Good
fun.
luck on the
I love
pages.
doing this.
And hey, Mike, I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right. Appreciate that. That was awesome, John, Harry, and Mila. It's exactly why we're doing all of this, to get people out to see. I mean, Michigan's an amazing state. It's beautiful. There's so many cool and interesting things to see. And even before this, I didn't know about some of these things. And Greg's like, "Hey, we should do a clue over here." I'm like, "That sounds pretty awesome. I'd love to go see that one of these days." So I'm glad people are getting out and experiencing our great state. Two quick things. Number one, we're going to have a clue coming up for
Awesome.
for the new stage. So, but before that, I wanted to give everybody a quick heads up. We're actually going to start doing a Cloak Treasure store soon. So if anybody wants any Cloak Treasure merch, we're going to be putting that together. I'm not sure if it's going to be t-shirts and hoodies or hats or whatever it is. We're going to be doing some Cloak Treasure
Your own
stuff
brand of
coming up.
bug spray.
Right.
I like that bug spray with the.
Do it. Yeah, I think people will buy it.
Yeah, I like it. So that's going to be coming up, and I'm going to hand it over to Greg for the clue because he does it far better than me.
Yeah, well, a couple things. So we've got a couple comments in the chat. So there's two questions I want to answer before we get into the clue, just because I love stringing this out and annoying people. So the first one here is, are we going to get a full explanation of each stage? Sort of, but not a full explanation. And the reason for giving, so what I'm gonna do is I want to kind of explain enough to give you the right pointers. But as John was talking about on this stage, you know, we'll use the HO on the map. Was that horses only? If so, maybe that's used up and you don't need to think about it again. If not, maybe it plays into stage 6 or stage 7 or stage 8. So I'm not necessarily going to lay that out in terms of what every clue is until the very, very end.
And I think that's what they're asking, Greg.
Yeah,
I think when it's all said and done, then
right.
do we get all the other details?
So when we're done with stage 10, whenever that is, we'll kind of maybe do a little bit of a forensic on it and kind of answer some of those questions. But we're certainly not going to do it stage by stage because it may give away more than we want to give away. And then we have another question on here, which this is impressive that somebody figured that out. So yes, the answer is absolutely on, I think, Instagram back on, oh gosh, maybe in early May or late April. I think I posted a little video of me walking down a path. I was at a soccer match with my youngest, and we took a run out there just to do some pre-scouting. There were no bugs. And that was indeed one of those back trails that led up to the hill. It wasn't the main road approach, but it was a back trail. So I'm pretty impressed there that somebody figured that out. So good, kind of a fun question. And now I think what folks are waiting for is probably like, how can we help you with the stage 6 hints? So I'm way more generous than I probably should be on this. So there's going to be 3 hints on this, not just one. So the one that I think everybody's going to probably spend the most time digging around with is it's elementary, my dear Watson. Okay. So that's your hint. And then the second one that I'm going to give you is what you're actually looking for. And this is likely going to confound some of you when you start getting through the stages, but to solve stage 6, the end item is an SD card. Okay, so one of those little camera cards that's going to have some information on it that really gets you into the next stage, stage 7. But if you haven't found that, you're not there yet. So that's kind of my second hint. And my third hint, well, this is the really tough one. You already have it. So in what I've already said.
Nice.
So with that, gentlemen, ladies online, I hope you're enjoying it. We're certainly enjoying putting it on. I'm curious to see the progression here on stage 6. And I hope you all have some boots on the ground this weekend as you get out and try and do some exploring.
Hey, Greg, I would be remiss if we didn't throw down the gauntlet a little bit. If we can get 500 views of this stream, not necessarily live right now, it's a little late for that. We can get 500 views on this. We're going to do another clue. So as soon as we hit that 500 view mark, we'll do another one of these and we'll get another clue out there. Yeah. So it might be ahead of schedule, but throw the gauntlet down. share the link and share the channel. The more subscribers, more people we get participating, the bigger the prize pool. So bribery, I like it. That's exactly right. Can you tell I've had kids and I know how to get people to do things? Yeah. So yeah, 500 views and we'll get another clue out there.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
How many registered users do you have now?
So the number that is up on the website is sort of a calculation, and then there are, I think, 7 administrator accounts included in that. So that puts us like 107, 108. I think there were maybe 115 on there. So
you've got a ways to go then.
We do, and it's a little bit of a challenge. You got to spend money to make money. And really what we want to do is get enough interest that we sit down one evening in the winter and say, all right, I think we figured this out. I think we've got a community that would like to do this. Let's do it again. There's one of these that runs out in Utah every year. It started during COVID, and they've been managing to make it work and kind of growing interest. So if we have that kind of a feedback and we're close on numbers, then we'll absolutely do another one of these. And we have some pretty creative ideas around funding a second one. Even if we only get, 100, 200, 300, 100 people on this, it's been fun. And I think we're learning so much about it that we still may take a stab next year. Certainly things like merchandise and having folks get the word out is going to help us. I don't know what the magic number is, but certainly we are looking to fund it so that it's just not money out of my kids' college fund next time.
Right. You guys aren't going to college, right? That's too expensive.
and we've got time, right? So we're only 5 stages in out of 10, and they do continually get harder, and they are going to take a little bit. I mean, there's a couple of them that got solved really quick. Some of them we expected to be solved quick. Some of them we didn't expect to be solved quick, but they're going to continue to be harder and take a little bit longer to get to that final answer for each of these stages. So that buys us a little bit of time to get more people participating and getting out there. So, all right. Anything else for the good of the crew and everybody watching?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you having us.
Meet all 3 of you, and best of luck on the next stages.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.